Karma phala. Karma phala does not mean this siddhi asiddhi. Karma phala means, traditionally they use the word punya and papa. What that means is, in physics, have you heard of law of conservation of energy? Conservation means the total quantity is fixed. You cannot increase or reduce it. It's conservation. Just like conservation of energy, in modern physics there is another conservation which is not that popular. It's called law of conservation of information. Have you heard of it? Law of conservation of information means you cannot generate new information, you cannot destroy information. The total amount of information in the universe is fixed. They talk of it quantitatively, but when you make it qualitative, it will become karma theory. Now, physically, there will be action reaction. Out of one activity there will be an outcome, success or failure. Okay, but at another level, at an invisible level, there is lot of information flow happening. Meaning, you can call it as mind or buddhi or whatever. At a subtle level, there is so much of transaction happening. I may be doing a particular activity with an intention, but whatever is happening at that invisible layer, karma phala is talked of at that level. When you say siddhi asiddhi, it is talked of at the visible level, at the drishta level. But at the adrishta level, what is happening, which is not visible to you, that is called as punya and papa. You can look at this universe. Actually, modern physics talks in that language only. They treat existence, they treat the universe as an ocean of information, not ocean of matter. So it is an ocean of information, and waves of information are moving here and there. When the information is of one particular type, it looks like it's a physical manifestation. So they consider physicality to be one small aspect of information. Information is the bigger reality, and physical manifestation is one small part of it. So when you speak of that invisible aspect, it is punya and papa. In any activity, a wave of information is generated, and if you have a sense of ownership of that wave will rebound and come back to you. You will be made to go through the same information some other day. In a particular bank, there are many accounts. Suppose 1,000 people have their accounts, and this person has this much money, that person has that much money. You have separated. Suppose one day all that data is erased. In software, something happens and all the data is erased. All the money is there, but what belongs to who? If the account holdership, that information is erased, the information structure will collapse. Meaning, although you are acting, you don't have the account, you don't hold it as yours. That information will not rebound back to you. It is not saying that I am not responsible. It's not escapism. It is what I was trying to tell you, the example of father and mother on that day. When a mother takes care of the baby for one day, she doesn't even think that she did something. It happens. Spontaneously it happens through you. Or if you take another example, in your body, how many cells are there? Some billions of cells are there. And each cell is going through its own life. It has its own lifetime and it has its own activity. It is going through its own life. There are billions of cells and it is going through its own life. But all of them are working without a sense of individual doership. They are working towards one entity. So, at the level of the cell, there is no individuality and they work towards just one entity, as one organism. This whole system is working as one organism. If it is working like that, all the cells are doing karma yoga. They don't have the individuality. They are all enlightened cells. All your cells are enlightened. You are not enlightened, but your cells are enlightened. But there are some cells, suppose there are some cells, they get individuality and they start living their own life, not towards the bigger goal, but their own life, it is a disease. That's what disease is. If somewhere in the body a particular cell starts doing its own thing, that's a disease. It is not working towards the welfare of the organism. It is no more identifying itself with the bigger whole. It is considering itself to be an individual. The moment a cell considers itself to be an individual, it's a disease. Like that, if you are working towards, if you are acting as if you are one cell in the universe, it is as good as the whole universe is you. There is no individuality for the individual cell. The whole body is one individual. But if you have sense of individuality, that means you are a disease of the universe. Are you following?
Yes.
So losing individuality doesn't mean stopping your work. Losing individuality means doing whatever is at your disposal to the best of your capacity, but not having that strong individuality that I am doing it for myself. You are always keeping the bigger system in your view, and you are working as a part of the system. Every system has many parts. Any system you take, a car has many parts, a clock has many parts. Each part has a particular swabhava, each part will do its swadharma. And it will do, because it is nature, it is its nature to do, it will do. It will not be doing it to acquire some punya or papa. It will simply do, it will simply express. When activity becomes your natural expression, you will no more be thinking about, you will no more be world oriented. The moment you are world oriented, only then the concept of punya papa comes. Only because you are world oriented, you will think how many people got benefited from me, I did that much punya. If you are not world oriented, meaning if your focus is not towards the world, but your focus is just on yourself, this is my swabhava and this is how I will go on expressing myself, that's all. I am acting to express, not to impress the world. This incidentally was a slogan of one movie, ABCD, anybody can dance. You heard? You should dance to express, not impress. The same thing if you extend, you should act to express yourself, not to impress the world. So if you simply go on expressing yourself through activity, you are acting like one cell in the body. You are simply expressing your swabhava. Your swadharma, you are acting, you are a small part of the bigger whole, and you are expressing, that's all. You are not doing it to benefit somebody or benefit the world. It will happen, benefit will happen anyway, you don't have to think about it. It is a very subtle change within. Karma yoga has nothing to do with the type of activity, amount of activity, quality of activity. It doesn't have to do anything with that. You can be working in an office, you can be working in a butcher shop, you can be sweeping in Prashanti, you can be doing charity, you can be doing anything. Don't associate karma yoga to a particular type of activity. Don't start thinking that only charity is karma yoga. It's not so. Any activity can be converted into karma yoga. So you have to differentiate those two things there. Karma phala, when they say karma phala, they mean the invisible aspect of activity, the information side of it. You have created a wave of information, and if you have individuality, you will have to undergo that wave of information. It will rebound and come back to you. If you look at Buddha's teachings, Buddha very strongly emphasized this. When he emphasized Satkarma, he emphasized good activities so that initially that quality, that Sukrita, that kind of waves of information will take you near the shore. In waves there are two types. Some waves will take you towards the middle of the ocean, some waves will take you towards the shore. So that is a classification which I already made. Asuri means whichever takes you more and more towards the ocean, which makes you more and more bound. Sattva and Daivi means that whichever takes you towards the shore. And only then you will start seeing the shore. After that you will give up that also. After that you will become free of Sattva also. Sattva will liberate you.